Hello, my name is Ed Sunderland, and I've got this blog called howtofloortile.blogspot.com, or you can get to it by Confessions of a Tile Setter. This blog has had somewhere in excess of 3 million page views, and it's full of all kinds of photographs, information, day-to-day stuff that a lot of people aren't aware of. There are some helpful tips and tricks on maintaining floors, shower, tile, all kinds of other things. Some typical problems that we run into day to day. And I'm going to blow through this as quickly as I can, and just hit some highlights on some of these articles. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you might find interesting. And this is based on years of experience dealing with residential remodeling and construction, just some of the personal things I've run into, some of the issues that I've had to overcome, some of the problems that people have, and some of the stuff I see on a day-to-day basis that I think I can probably help you with. Let's start out with this post here, new wood flooring. Let's say, for example, you just had some new wood flooring installed in your house. Who's going to win, your pets or will you? By that I mean, how long is your wood floor going to last if you have some vigorous pets, particularly dogs that are really busy? Your floors are going to lose. Your pets are going to tear it up. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a new home that's had brand new flooring installed on it. They had busy pets in there. The floor looked terrible. I mean, maybe they didn't realize it, but I noticed it immediately walking in the front door. There were scratches all over it. And it's just unfortunate that happens. If you have pets, a lot of pets in your house, maybe a better alternative would be porcelain. That looks like wood. There are some absolutely stunning porcelain boards out there that look just like the real thing, and they're essentially what they are is they are photocopied, screen printed off of actual lumber, and down to the grain, as a matter of fact. It's absolutely stunning what they do, and I would suggest you take a look at that if you're going to be. I know it's cold. I know it's hard, harder than wood. But when you're talking about spending money and having something last, it's going to last far longer than your nice warm-looking wood floors. And the cost is about the same, if not even a little bit less. And it'll be easier to maintain. I mean, you can mop this stuff, all right, but you can only dust mop something like this. So that's something to think about. Furthermore, I want to talk just a little quickly about hand-scraped wood. Now, hand-scraped wood looks great. It looks fine. It looks functional. The problem is in high traffic areas, what happens? Well, the high spots in the hand scraped lumber wears off, and it just doesn't look that great. So what you're going to need to do in high traffic areas is cover it with some carpets, some runners, what have you, something like that. Otherwise, it's going to wear out relatively quickly, and I'm talking just the high spots. So you might consider just getting some regular flat lumber like this instead of going the hand scrape route. But if you go the hand scrape route, I understand it's attractive looking stuff, but in high traffic areas you want to be sure and use something to cover it, which to me is kind of a self-defeating purpose. You want everybody to see your nice floors, and here we are covering it up. You wouldn't have that problem with some stuff like this. Anyway, let's go on to how to clean marble tile and granite. Now, I built this shower for a customer a while back. This is not marble, but it's based on marble. It's copied after marble. Why is it a copy of marble? Because porcelain is a lot easier to maintain than marble. So you're going to see all kinds of different products that mimic the natural stone. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because it's easier to maintain, porcelain is, than marble. And if you do have a marble shower, a travertine shower, or a granite shower, or parts in there that are travertine or marble or whatever natural stone, what I suggest you do is go to the stonesofnorthamerica.com care. The Marble Institute of America has a ton of information on here that will help you decide how to maintain your marble shower. A lot of people ask me all the time, how do I clean it? How do I take care of it? Well, I pretty much direct them to this, but I could give them some specific tips right off the bat. You want to use coasters on everything, trivets high temperature items like pots and pans on the granite top. The problem that you have with putting hot pans and what have you on top of your granite is you burn or you off gas the sealer that is put on the marble, granite, whatever you have for a countertop. The sealer just burns off, it just evaporates. And not only is that not something good that you want to breathe, it ruins the sealing aspect of whatever it is that you have on there. So what you'll need to do is clean it up and you need to reseal it later on, which is what I suggest you do anyway, at least twice a year. For granite and marble countertops and backsplashes, whatever you've got back there, redo it twice a year, once in the spring, one in the fall, whatever. Just remember to do that, clean it real good, and then seal it. And the reason is because a sealer doesn't stay there. When you're washing and cleaning, you're actually taking it off, you're removing it every day. You need to treat porcelain or marble and granite, you need to treat natural stones, travertine, like car paint. You need to think of it similar to that. Whenever you wash it with something, you need to rinse it also, and this is the same with floor specifically. Sealer also, by the way, is not a permanent barrier. Sealer, think of Rain-X for your car. If you've ever used Rain-X for your car, you know it's good for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 thunderstorms, whatever, and then it starts to wear off, and then you have to start using your windshield wipers, and then you got to do the Rain-X again. Well, the same thing is true for sealer. And something else that you should know about sealer, it is not a permanent solution to keeping stuff from setting in. If you spill some wine on it or something, or Coke or something like that, coffee, what sealer does is it gives you time to find something to sop it up, clean it up, and get it off the surface. But what will happen eventually is this, particularly like Coke or wine or whatever, the acid will eat through the sealer, and you can still stain the surface of your countertop. So this is something, or floors, whatever it is, whether it's travertine, marble, whatever you got on the floors or your countertops, you got to remember that just sealer is not a permanent solution. It's just sort of a temporary barrier until you can get to it. Let's see here. They want you to identify what type of a stain it is. Typically, it's household stuff, so there aren't too many bad things that you find. Although there are detergents and what have you that wind up on countertops and so on. But anyway, just remember this: that it is not a permanent barrier. Sealer is not a permanent barrier, and it's something that you should reseal your surface with. And by doing that, you're serving two purposes. One, you're sealing it, and also sealer acts, and you want to get a micro antibacterial or micro bacterial sealer, something that would that's antimicrobial, I should say, that will help keep mold and mildew, stuff like that, from growing in the corners or around wet areas like in your sink and shower, and we'll get to that in a little bit. All right, let's go on to some common problems. Now, if you've been with plumbing, now if you've been in a house for 25, 30 years, or renting or whatever, or you've been in a house for 20 years and 15 years, what have you, and you're going to put new countertops in, or you're going to put new fixtures in, and then you're going to do it yourself. This is something you should know. This is a sink under a house that I did a while back. We put in new countertop. We put in new fixtures, I should say. We did put new cabinet facings on, but new fixtures, and these valves have probably never been turned on or off in 20, 25 years. So when you turn these off, they don't turn off. You can see that the water began leaking out of the valve here on the floor. This is the cold side on the right. This is the hot side on the left. And after closing these off, and I actually grabbed a pair of pliers and I cranked these down as tight as I could, they still kept leaking. Because once you've moved the rubber inside there, it was attached to the outsides of the valve on the inside, and it just chewed itself up, so it's gone. so what you have to do in this situation is go out to the street, shut the water off, which is what I did, and shut the water off. And then I had to go to the hardware store, replace these two valves and feed lines. So If you wonder why plumbers and handymen charge so much for doing these sort of things, this is what happens. Unexpected things. Now, if you turn these valves on or off a couple of times a year for over the past 20 years, they probably still be working just fine. I don't know. That's just the nature of the rubber materials that were in these valves when they were built. But the state of the art today are quarter turn shut-off valves, so that you can turn them off quickly. They're ball valves. They're less likely to get corroded like rubber, and they can, a handyman or a plumber can take care of that problem. Now, what happens frequently, or too frequently, is people will come in and they'll do service work who are not plumbers. They'll put a new countertop in. They'll do something like that. They will turn the water off because they got to pull the sink or whatever. And when they turn the water off, the valves continue to leak. And what happens? This happens. The water leaks all over the bottom of the sink, and the bottom or the deck underneath gets completely, totally destroyed. Now, this happened to a customer of mine, and it's really not that difficult if this happens to replace this. One little tip that I can offer you is, if you're going to be doing this, and this is what happened here: a new countertop was put in, new sink, and the valves leaked and it flooded and it just destroyed this. The granite guys didn't give a damn whether this valve was leaking. They just didn't pay any attention to it. The doors were closed in here. All was well. Nobody saw anything, of course. So until the homeowner opened the door, and this was all shot. So anyway, to replace the bottom of this, like I said, it's not that difficult. What you can do is remove this stile in the middle here, back behind this stile on the inside of the counter. There are two screws, one right beside each other. They've got a square head on them, and they screw into this top piece. Okay, this top member here. They're screwed in here, and down at the bottom, right here, there are two screws that go in the bottom. So you can back these screws out and back the screws out of the top, and you can remove this stile, and you can have the full open space of this deck, so you can rip it all out, install some 2x4s, and then install a deck. And it's not that difficult to make it level with everything else, and then grout it in or caulk it in and make it look like nothing happened, which is what we did here. So just remember that anytime there's a disaster like this that happens, it's really not that difficult to fix. Like I said, all I got to do is rip all this garbage out, remove this stile, pull it out of the road, lay in some 2x4s in the back, on the sides, in the front. If you can't for some reason get this stile out of the middle, and I don't know why you couldn't, but sometimes there are square nails in these things and you can't, or they're glued. But if you can get it out, that's great. If you can't, then you would have to put this in two pieces, a piece over on this side and a piece over on this side. But you can still do it with 2x4. You can lay the 2x4 along the sides in the back, and then down the middle, so that you can lay a piece on each side and get it in there to fit. It's not that difficult. It's not that hard in order to fix something like this. And of course, it's much better when all this plumbing is out of the road too, which is what I did when I rebuilt this. And I've done a bunch of these, by the way. So it's not that hard. The average homeowner can do this sort of thing. Not a problem. Let's take a look at some new shower ideas. Now, I went to the tile shop, and they have a lot of bathrooms to look at. And something that I've noticed is they're using a lot more natural stone than I had no idea they were doing that much. But you're going to notice something in here, and I'm going to point it out to you at the end of this little section here on showers and current ideas and so on. I'm going to make a point, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we get down to the bottom of all these showers. Now, these are all marble. These are marble showers. There may be some glass tile in here too, but this is pretty much all marble, and just pretty much all marble. Another thing too, a lot of showers are losing glass. There's a glass panel right here. There's a glass panel right there, but this entry right in here is open. Now, if a customer wanted, they could go ahead and have a glass shop put in a door there or whatever, but I'm starting to see less of it, and the reason is this stuff is terribly expensive. And whenever you add glass, you're adding more surface to clean. And with shower heads being more directional, it's really not that much of a problem anymore. Typically you're going to have a towel down on the floor here or something. Here's another example of a shower that's got a bunch of design element on one side, some small niches. Let's see, we've got an edge here that you can place stuff on. Something that a lot of people don't think about and should is utility. Utility is the ability or function of a shower or a kitchen, for example, and that is having enough room, space, and places for you to put things that you use that are within easy reach. Typically you want to have a niche somewhere close to the shower head for if you shave in the shower, if you brush your teeth in the shower, of course, for shampoo, for a loofah, for back scrubber, for razor, whatever you do in the shower, you should have a niche for it. And if there's a husband and wife and you both use the same stuff, that's great. If not, and that's typically not the case. Usually the wife has got certain shampoos and conditioners that she likes and maybe some skin cream getting out of the shower, and then the guy just, I don't care, you know. Maybe he doesn't have any hair at all. But anyway, there should be a niche for both of you for your own stuff. And I try to take that into account whenever we're building showers. And I also make suggestions on what you should put in there and why. And typically they're well accepted, except for one thing. And we'll talk to that at the bottom of this page. This is the same shower here. And you'll notice that there's just a quarter panel of glass here. There isn't a full glass door. Now, it could be because the designer left it out. They wanted you to be able to walk in and see a little bit more. But I tend to think that you really don't need that much glass. This has a niche over here on the left-hand side. It's also got a little side panel right there. Don't know if I like that, but and then of course you could put some stuff, stack some stuff on top of that. That right there. Here's another shower with a lot of travertine, and as we walk in and hang a right and look to the left here, or walk in here and hang a left and look to the left, this is what the shower looks like if you're standing here looking in that direction. It's very attractive. It's got dual shower heads. Now these are great. The only problem is most, well, I don't know if these put out a lot of water. I don't know if there's enough water pressure to satisfy everybody with two big shower heads like that, but maybe there are. This has got a lot of travertine in it. There is some glass tile here and there, but this is a shower that would require being sealed at least a couple of times a year, at least. The shower is going to be cleaned. Travertine really attracts mold. It's more difficult to maintain. I can't tell you how many times I've had to come in and rehab travertine showers because the material is so porous, and I don't care if it's honed or if it's polished. It's still a porous material, and it requires maintenance, and as I said, it's almost like taking care of car paint. And here's another little shower with nice little, well, actually I think this is part of this one here. Yeah, it is. This is just to the right as you walk into the shower and you turn to the right. This little, and I don't know if that's a seat or what, just a design element. Maybe you could put a plant there. I don't know. But anyway, somebody put a lot of work into the shower. It's very attractive, very nice. Here's another shower here with tile. There is mostly glass. There's kind of a rock material in the floor, and I want to talk about that for just a second. There is a rounded stone that some people have been putting in the bottom of their showers, and the idea is it's being therapeutic for your feet while you're taking a shower. Don't believe it. Don't do it. Get the flat stuff. Reason is I haven't torn any out yet, but I've heard some regrets. So just keep that in mind. If you want to do it, go ahead and knock your lights out, but just know that that's a rather specialized product. That's stone that's rounded on the top, not cut off flat. Highly suggest you do the flat stone in a shower. Here's another theme that we're starting to see, and that is a tub with just a glass panel on the side. Now, I don't know if this, didn't pay attention if this, I don't think this opens. It's a fixed panel, and because if it opened, it'd slam into this corner right here. So there's got to be a fixed panel, but I'm seeing a lot of just fixed panels. So it doesn't go all the way across the shower, so you've got less to maintain. And I think that's probably a pretty good idea. And I thought this was kind of a nice kitchen area with the lighting and the travertine on the floor and on the countertop. This shower here, and you're going to notice something else I'm going to show you when we get done with this common theme with all these showers we're looking at. This shower here has ceramic tile subway, and then we've got a seat here. Now, a seat's great. A seat's good. The problem is I don't know if this is marble and if it would support somebody. I don't think they would. The shower seats that I put in are about 2 inches thick. They're concrete in an aluminum case. And then I set tile on top of that. Something else, this soap dish right up here. Soap dishes used to have a handle on them. These don't. You won't find them at Lowe's. Or what you find at Lowe's and Home Depot are soap dishes without the handle. The actual handle was actually called a wash rag holder. I think they called it a wash rag holder after people had used it as a grip to get up and down out of the tub, pulled them off the wall, and broke their fanny, whatever. So you don't find these very much. You can get them online, you can find them here and there, but yeah, you don't see soap dishes with the handle on them much anymore. Here's another one. Well, it's the same one here. This is the same bathroom. But anyway, here's another angle. And there's something suspiciously missing here that I would like to see. It's not there. Well, here's another shower. It's completely different. One of the problems with putting square boxes in showers is you're creating more corners, more edges for mold and mildew water to sit and cause problems. So my suggestion would be for you, if you're going to be building a shower, you could put this niche probably in the wall and not have to have this thing sticking out here. It's fairly attractive. I think it's okay, but my advice is not to do something like that. And here's another shot of the same shower. See, they've got a niche up here, a niche there. Then they got this round thingy here that's probably a seat, I guess. I don't know what this theme is here, but there's something suspiciously missing here, and I'll get to that here in just a second. Here's another shower with a niche design element. This has got vertical subway tile. Not sure what to think about that. This shower has vertical subway tile, and this is angled back at an angle. It's not a flat part of the wall, but it's thinner. It's wider up here than it is down here, and they must have been fun framing that in. That's all I can see. Here again, we have a soap dish with no wash rag holder. Here we see it again, and nothing else in here. Something I thought was kind of nice, this sink. It's kind of a new model, and underneath you could probably hang wash rags underneath that, because there's certainly, or towels. There's no room to put anything up here. And I want to get back to this utility business, because where would you put a towel? I mean, if you wash your hands, maybe you could put a soap bottle up here. But you want to wash your hand, you want to dry your hands off on something, okay? Would you put a ring here and a towel, or on both sides, and 2 towels? Or could you hang them from underneath the sink here? I don't know, but these are some of the things you should be thinking about whenever you're designing your shower. Probably, and we'll get to it a little bit later, but when the shower is demoed, the area is demoed where you're going to put the shower, that's when you want to look at places where you could put your niches and other appliances to increase the utility of your shower. They've got a what looks like a marble seat here or shelf. I don't know. It's low, so you'd think it was kind of a seat, but if it's marble, it's not very strong. Probably not a good idea. But you know, one of these up here would be a nice place. Something smaller, about half that size up here would be a good spot to put some. See, because there's no. Well, let's see. I don't see it. I don't see a niche in here, but be a good place to put some soap and whatever. That's probably what this is for, I guess. I don't know. But you need to be thinking about utility whenever you're designing a shower. Seriously. What are you going to do with this stuff? All right. We finally get down to the bottom shower. This example, this is one that I built. This right here. It's a grab bar. It's something you don't see in any of these showers in this entire store. I don't recall seeing a single one. And the people that are most resistant when I suggest putting in a grab bar are the younger folks. Folks that are 60, 65, 70, they understand that. Why? Because they've broken their leg, they've sprained their ankles, they've busted their ass on the ice, they've come home drunk at night. I mean, there's just all kinds of infirmities that you can get in a day-to-day basis. Maybe you just don't feel well, you're a little weak for something, maybe you're sick, and maybe you're a little dizzy, but you want to take a shower and freshen up. Well, a grab bar is going to help you out. It is a safety item. Not only is it a safety item, it's a tool of function. You can hold yourself, you can getting in and out of the shower. It's something to grab onto. If it's just, you should put in a grab bar, period. They make this one here is all rub bronze. I mean, you get them in chrome, you get them in brushed nickel, just about anything you want. Stainless steel. I've even seen these made out of galvanized steel. You know, just a kind of a steampunk galvanized steel grab bar in the shower. And I've put as many as 5 grab bars in a shower because a child or someone in the family had cerebral palsy or some other kind of issue. So don't think that there's a problem with this, that you have a physical ailment or you're physically unable to do something because you have a grab bar. It's a safety item. I don't understand why younger folks don't pay attention to this stuff. It's very simple. It's no big deal. It's a safety item. It's a useful tool. It has some utility. I wouldn't suggest you stack all of your soap bottles and what have you on top of that. That's what this niche is for. I mean, don't stuff your soap on a rope on that. That's what that's for. You've also got some edges in here. And that's another thing, too. You can always, like travertine, you can always put a piece of travertine up here or a couple of them for shelves for whatever kind of stuff that you and your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever you use, husband, wife, use for taking a shower. Around our house, we shave and shower, or I do. I shave and brush my teeth in the shower. So I would want a niche that has all the equipment that I need in it. So anyway, that's my rant for today. Primarily, none of these showers have a grab bar in them, and I don't understand that. I mean, it's such an important item. It's like grabbing a door handle to get into your car, for crying out loud. You notice it's easier getting in and out of Ford trucks with a grab bar up there on the window pillar, right? So the same thing is necessary in a shower. Seriously, I mean, think about it. What would happen if you sprained your ankle, you had a cramp in your leg, and you had trouble standing up, or the shower was just cleaned and it's really slick? I'm just telling you, man. It should be. I don't like to make things mandatory, but I think that should be. All right. If you have a glue down floor, you want to get rid of it, you don't know how to do it, I'm going to tell you right now, it's fairly simple. It's a lot easier than it seems. If you've got wood that's glued down, engineered wood that's glued down to concrete, here's what you do. You get a skill saw. Set the blade so that it's about the depth of the wood that you're going to take out with a carbide blade. Start over here off the corner, off the side of the wall, about 18 inches. Cut a strip. Pop lines about 18 inches apart across the floor. All right, and come out about 18 inches, cut all the way through to one end of the floor, move over to the next line, cut all the way through, all the way down to this next line, go over to the next line, cut all the way. What you want to wind up with are strips that are about 18 inches wide. Why 18 inches wide? So that you can easily scoop them up and throw them into a contractor trash bag. That's why. And then, after you make all of these cuts, get one of these bad boys down at Home Depot, a Makita, or the or local rental place with a wide scraper blade here, and just go to town. This stuff will pop up like crazy. It comes up much easier than I thought. We replaced all this in a doctor's house because, I did, because they had some foundation work. In doing so, they had to put some piers inside this room, which destroyed the floor. So they decided to go back in with wood tile. So I tore all this out and then replaced it with wood-looking tile. And it worked out perfectly. Something else, let's see. When you get all the wood cleaned up, there's going to be some glue residual left on the concrete. How do we handle that? Well, go back to the rental place again. It costs about $100, but they've got a big buffer that has a wood and steel plate on the bottom of it. It's about, 12, 14 inches wide, maybe wider, I don't know. But it's got carbide blades on the bottom of it. And you get that baby going on this floor, and it will scrape up all of the excess adhesive that's on this floor. You just run it across this floor, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just use a hand scraper up in the corners. And it's going to take a couple hours and about a 15 by 20 floor in order to get all the old adhesive up so that you can set tile on top of it or whatever it is that you want to do. But anyway, that's how you do this stuff here. It's not that difficult. Costs a little bit of money. Takes a little bit of time. But a lot of people think, well, how do I get this stuff up? Well, it's not that big of a deal. Just remember what I said. Just plan on using the right equipment, making the cuts, getting this sucker. This runs about $60 a day for the Makita and the bit. And then the grinder, I don't have a picture of that, but it's just a big, huge buffer with scraper blades, and you just tell the guys you're trying to scrape adhesive off of a concrete floor. They know what you're talking about typically. And that is also a good thing to use in a garage floor if you want to resurface it for stain, sealer, whatever, something like that. That helps a lot. Helps smooth it out too. All right, some new trends. Now there's some people that are very brave. They're putting metal trim now on corners and what have you of tile. I've asked for some feedback from some people to find out if they like it, if it's been doing okay. To me, it's just another surface to attract mold and mildew. I don't know. But I don't know. I haven't gotten any feedback from anybody that's installed it, used it for any length of time, so I don't know. I haven't had any requests for it. If you're using a dust mask and you wear glasses, these work the best. They're a little more expensive, but air goes in through the filter material, and then this opens up, and your breath goes out through this little rubber valve here. So if you're wearing glasses and if you're wearing safety glasses, these help. They really do, and they're worth spending an extra couple of bucks. The cheap ones that you get that are just a cover with no exhaust, they're okay, but you wind up fogging up your glasses like crazy, and I wear glasses and I absolutely hate that. Let's see, here's another picture of the, oh yeah, that's that sink I did. Let's talk about slate for just a moment. Slate's an attractive material. It's earthy, it's warm looking, but it's not. But this is the perfect use for it. It's on the wall. This slate is on the wall in this club that I work out in, and I think this is the best and highest use for slate on the wall. Why? Well, slate is essentially condensed packed mud. You get it out in the weather, it can, well, what it will do is it typically dries out. It will start to separate. The colors go dim on it. It's just, it starts to chip up. I've done so many repairs on this stuff, and it's okay in a covered area, okay, like inside a sunroom, something like that. I suppose it'd be okay. It doesn't get a lot of sun, doesn't get a lot of water, but for inside the shower, no, absolutely. Even if it's honed, polished, no, I would not use it in a shower. It's too porous. And why do I say that? Well, I've had to go in and repair these things. Furthermore, whenever you do slate like this on the wall, you have to seal it before you grout it. Okay? If that tells you anything, you've got to seal it before you grout it. After you install the tile, then you put the sealer on it, then you grout it. And then if you want to seal the grout, you got to come back and you got to seal it again. So my advice to you would be to basically stay away from it. And I know I'm saying some stuff that's not going to make floor companies that sell materials very happy, but I'm telling you where the best uses are. Also on walls, areas that don't get much sun or water or weather. And I'm just telling you because I've had to bust so much of it up. You know, they say, well, it was great when we put it down, and I go, yeah, but geez, you know, it's not now. Okay, talking about utility in the shower. How many niches do you need? Well, if there's a husband and wife, like I was mentioning earlier, there should be probably 2, I'm guessing. But as far as utility goes, it's okay to go a little bit overboard. Now take a look at this shower. This is one I did across the street. We have a little, and this is just, it's just attractive. It's just a little shelf that I stuck in here. And then we installed a couple of brushed nickel hooks that go with everything else that's brushed nickel. And it's functional. This adds to the utility of the shower, and it just makes it a little more useful. In this niche back here, this has got some natural stone in the I don't know why we put that up there that high, but this natural stone goes with this checkerboard pattern that goes along the top that the contractor asked for. This I installed in a contractor's home. Here's a simple little niche and a simple little shower. This is a niche that went in a shower of a garage. This guy has a garage where he stores all of his high-dollar fun cars. And at first he wasn't going to put a niche in it, and I convinced him to do it. And right away he found something to put in there. So this picture I took after he'd used the shower, which is cool. Also niche placement, that's another thing that you have to consider. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. You can't always put a niche wherever you want it. You may have to put the niche wherever it's going to go, wherever it'll fit. Sometimes you may not get any. You might wind up with just some shelves. But think about utility. Don't think about hanging some piece of garbage off of your shower head. That's crazy. When right now you can put establish some permanent items in here. Yes, you can get some stainless steel fixtures that you can drill into and attach in the corners, but why do that if you can do it when the shower is being constructed? Now here we are back again at this same shower we looked at right here. This is the same shower. We have a little shelf here, and we've got 2 little hooks, and then down here we've got a niche, and I actually used the same piece of marble here for this shelf and for this shelf. And there's actually a seat over here too that's also marble on about 2 inches of concrete, so that there's a solid seat. You could jump up and down on it. It's supposed to handle at least 400 pounds. So anyway, this niche has plenty of room for whatever shampoo that the homeowner wanted here. Plus there's room here for soap, for toothbrush, loofah, whatever you wanted. And guess what? We have a grab bar. They knew that they were a little bit elderly, and they knew that they could really use something like that, so they were very happy to put that in or have that installed. So I was very happy to install it. This was a younger couple that bought this house. I asked them about the niche. They said yes. I asked them about a grab bar. They said no. So there you go. All right, let's look at using a laser. Let's say, for example, you're a homeowner and you want to install some flooring, some tile, excuse me, whatever. I use a laser a lot. Why? Well, because I don't always have enough blue chalk for my chalk line. If I have my chalk line, if I'm in my toolbox on this particular job or that particular job. Also, when you pop a line, you're always cleaning up, and frequently you're sweeping up your chalk line. There's also a possibility of pets running through your chalk line and your chalk and getting through the rest of the house. Of course, I've got tarps laid down, but that doesn't always stop other traffic from getting into your chalk and dragging it all over the place, right? So I keep this in my toolbox, and the way I use it is, in this particular instance, there is a wall back over here, 142 inches, 142 and 9/16 inches in that direction. There's a wall. So I made a mark here, and then I laid the tape out against the wall back over here, and I just left it in place, locked it in place, and then set the laser on this line here to 142.9/16 of an inch right there. And then I just moved the laser until I found 142 and 9/16 on the tape. And then I started back here at the tape, and I went this way with a little white card, and I made a mark about every 2 feet on the floor that lines up with the laser. So what happens is, every 2 feet you've got a little mark. You can take a 4-foot level, set it on these marks, use a pencil, and you can draw a straight line if you want. And on top of that, what you can do is you can make a mark right here on the wall, and whenever you're installing the tile, you can set the laser back down on this exact point, line it up with a point on the wall, and just leave it on. And whenever you set tile, you just make sure that your tile, that there is a channel for the laser light to show through, and you'll know that you're constantly exactly right on, and your tile is going to be straight as a rifle shot. And there's some other interesting developments with that later on. I'll see if I can show you what that is here in just a little bit. This is a before and after shot. This is what this shower looked like before, and this is what I tore out. It doesn't look moldy, but you may not realize that you could be sneezing and having problems with allergies when you have all of this stuff growing back behind the shower. Now, this was on a lower part of the shower. I actually pulled this out in just a couple of pieces. And this is going back in with Hardy Backer and Red Guard in order to seal up the joints and the niche. And this is the shower after it was completed. Again, no grab bar, no shelves. I always offer, but doesn't always happen. Okay, now this shower here is right here. All right. This is how I demo showers whenever I can do it. I pull it out. This is just one full piece right here. The whole thing came out, and there wasn't much dust. There weren't pieces of tile falling all over the place. But that's how I like to do it. Just pull it out. In that, you can see here that the valve part right there is right there. So I pulled this entire sheet out, packed it out in the garage, and the contractor was going to haul it off. But this is the way I like to do it. I find it interesting that these home shows go in with sledgehammers and they bust stuff up, make a big huge mess, and I guess it's just for better TV viewing. But when I'm on a job working by myself, I would rather make things go as quickly, smoothly, effortlessly as possible, and cleaning up debris is not my idea of fun. So I try to pull out chunks of shower as big as possible, like this one here. Here's another one that I tore out in just big panels. Whenever contractors install tile, they put it on top of panels, and the panels are nailed in with nails, so the nails are easy to come out. You start pulling on it, and eventually it'll pull loose, and it's just a much quicker, much easier way to go. You don't have pieces of tile laying all over the place. Cutting glass tile. Okay. I've got a cheap Chicago tool tile saw here. I've had the expensive ones, but one of the problems with cutting glass tile is there's a big deep groove underneath these blades. On on the saw deck that moves back and forth. This saw deck moves back and forth about 24 inches. There's a big huge groove where the blade is, so that debris can fall down inside the and out of the way from the blade. It just drops into this big groove that's down here. Well, here's a tip for you. Get some 1/4 inch hardy backer. All right, some 1/4 inch hardy backer. Cut it. Even if you have to buy a whole frickin' piece of it, you can cut it up in pieces and use it for other things. But just cut one that will fit on your saw deck, and square it up with the fence down here at the bottom. All right, down here at the back of the saw deck, there's a fence. Just pull it back so that it's squared up against the fence, and then run your saw through it. Okay, just make a cut through it from the top to the bottom. Just saw right through it so that you've got a groove that goes from the top to the bottom of this hardy backer, this 1/4 inch hardy backer. And I suggest that you use hardy backer in the side that's got all these squares, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. Anyway, what that does is it allows you to lay your glass or tile project, whatever it is, flat on a flat surface, because it's just jumping this little 1/8 of an inch gap, right? I mean, look how thin these pieces of tile are that I'm cutting off here. See, there's just some really tiny pieces of tile, glass tile, that I'm cutting off. 1/4 of an inch, maybe less, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. You know, it varies. But when you're cutting tile on a glass deck like this, it's much easier. It's the only way to go, as far as I'm concerned. So if you're cutting glass tile with one of these Chicago, or even any tile saw that has any kind of a groove, see, here's the groove up here in the saw deck, right there, and this just fills that gap, and and another thing that it does too, whenever I cut glass, I use blue tape from top to bottom, and I draw a line from top to bottom where I want the saw to cut. So what you can do is you can line this blue tape mark, the blue tape at the bottom and at the top, you can line that on this line right here that you cut through your hardy backer, and you're going to get the exact cut that you want every single time without fail. It really helps a lot, and I even use this sometimes on, when I'm cutting niches and stuff like that. This really does help too. So you're covering up this gap right here that's actually kind of dangerous if you were trying to cut glass, because it wants to bend over. The blade wants to, especially if your blade's a little bit dull, it wants to push it down into this gap here, this little canyon, and it's dangerous. So I cut a piece of hardy backer, lay it in there, and then, like I said, draw a line on blue tape on the glass wherever it is you want to cut it, and then line up the cut marks top and bottom with this line that you already have cut. It's gonna be dead on accurate every single time you make a cut on it. It's cool. And eventually you're probably going to have to pull this off. It's going to get wet. It'll deteriorate a little bit. You can spin it around. You can make another cut on another piece, or you can make another cut on this piece. Whatever. I mean, you can cut the ragged edge if there becomes one, and revitalize it, or you can just put a brand new piece on it. But this really does help a lot. I'm just telling you, it's from personal experience. Another thing too, by using these, the side that's got these little 4x4s on it, these are actually 1-inch blocks, is you can use these as a 45. If you go diagonally from this point to this point, let's say for example you have a piece of tile you need to cut a 45 on, you could lay it out from like this point to that point in a square and put the line that you want to cut over here, and use these lines here for a 45. It's just a quick way to do things if you want to do it that way. I don't know. That's what I do, and I just thought I'd pass it on. It helps a lot. It's a big tip. One thing that I appreciate these days is people using light in a shower. It can really kind of change the character of the shower. I thought this was kind of an interesting use of light. I built this shower. The customers put a light directly in the middle, and it just kind of made this arc over the window, and I just thought it looked kind of cool, so I took a picture of it. So don't forget light whenever you're designing a shower, or you're revitalizing a shower, remodeling a shower. Light and air. This window opens. There are so many, and this is emblematic of showers all over the place. There are few anymore that have windows that open up. If you have a window that opens up, you don't have to have a fan. Some people have both, but windows that open are rare these days, and it would be nice to have a bathroom that opens up. You could let some fresh air in. It would help dry out the shower after taking a shower. If you could crack a window open, something like that, it would. But builders don't do that much anymore, and it's really sad. I don't understand that trend. I don't like it, but that's where we are. All right, you're going to take your tub out, and you're going to just build a shower, a flat shower out of it. Well, these are some of the issues that you can run into. A shower curves at the vent side, at the drain side, on the back side it's curved, and that's where piping and what have you goes. Now imagine if you're going to just build a shower in here, build a curb across here, take the tub out, put in a curb, a shower pan, and make this a shower, just a shower. That's all I'm going to do. Take all of this stuff here and put it in this 3.5 inch slot. Okay, you've only got 3.5 inches of room here in this between this 2x4 and what's going to be hardy backer nailed on this outside. Now, it would be possible, sure, to build this out, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use what's existing. And here are some of the problems that we have whenever we're installing niches. This is a vent line. This vent line goes up into the wall and then up into the ceiling. And there could be a bathroom on the other side. There could be a sink. There could be some other plumbing part that will necessitate a vent line. A vent line can come from a toilet. It can come from just about anything that has to do with plumbing, and it will negate the possibility of you putting in a niche because of a vent line, or you might have to move it, or it would cost some more money to do it. We run into cast iron vent lines all the time, and those things are a real pain in the ass to move. I'm just telling you. But anyway, these are some of the challenges that we get into. That's why it costs a lot for plumbers and for handymen and tile guys in order to fix issues, is because all of this plumbing here is going to have to be moved. It's got to fit in this little bitty space over here, so that we can build a wall here and tile it, including the shower pan. So it's taken a lot of work just to move this stuff right here. I mean, a bunch of work. This particular instance, there was a piece of tile that was actually broken down here. It was functioning, but it was broken. It was loose. It took half a day to run around trying to find parts to replace it. Couldn't replace it, so the decision was made just to replace all the plumbing down here, which we did. And these are some of the issues that we run into. So whenever you're looking at the bill from your plumber or from your tile guy and you go, what the hell? this is stuff that happens, unfortunately. Is fairly common. Let's see here. All right, you're using some mastic. How do you remove mastic from your jeans? Now, this was actually a pretty popular topic. This got a lot of views. Jeans these days run about, the good ones, like the ones I wear, they're like $36 a pair, and when you get your knee into some mastic or some mastic on your jeans, it's really kind of irritating. So, and I wear knee pads, just so you know. But mastic, fortunately, is a latex material, and what happens when latex gets wet over a period of time? Well, it deteriorates. So if you get some on your pants, the best thing to do is remove it as quickly as possible. Anytime you're using mastic, keep a sponge and some fresh water somewhere close by so that you can get it off your clothes, so that you can get it off yourself. The sooner you get it off, the better. If you let it dry, it makes it more difficult. But if you get some on your jeans that you miss, you forget, you didn't see, well, put them in some warm water in the sink and let them soak overnight. The next morning, that stuff will be nice and soft, and you can just scrub it out with a little brush. No big deal. Yeah, we had over 3 million page views a year or so ago, which is great, and I really appreciate all the people that have come to the site and visited and perused the articles and stories in here. There's truly a lot of information in here that will help. Some design ideas and so on, some aids, and some things that you need to look for, things to watch out for, like leaky valves and so on. Something homeowners should do is always know where their water shutoff valves, while we're on the subject, shutoff valve is out by the street. And you should have a water key. You should know how to turn the water off. The husband, the wife, the kids, somebody should know how to turn it off. Several times driving around, I've driven by a house where water's pouring out of a garage. Usually I'll find out from a neighbor if the owner's home and go turn the water off for them. But this is something you should know, is how to shut the water off if you create a leak unexpectedly or break a valve. It's something everyone should know how to do. Design ideas. Now, Floor & Decor has a lot of different types of materials, and you don't have to use these materials on the floor. This is laminate wood that they used in some displays, using it vertically, and man, I'll tell you, the use that they had it in was just spectacular. And open your mind a little bit and think about using laminates or floor materials on walls, because they really do look attractive, and they serve a good purpose. IKEA kitchens. IKEA kitchens are kind of cool. I built this one. What's really nice is you can get self-closing doors, self-closing cabinet doors. You can get different lighting systems. This has got a light in it here. Under mount lighting, and it's all there. These are also remote, by the way. But I got a video here that shows you how to set up your kitchen, and if you want to build an IKEA kitchen, they're really not that difficult. They work on tracks, like these upper cabinets, for example. There's a track that runs up here across the wall that's installed into the studs. There's a track down here that these cabinets hang off of, and there are hooks on the back of each unit. Each cabinet unit or cabinet section is a unit. Like these cabinets right here, they're a unit. This is a unit right here. That's a unit. This is a unit. These doors right here are a unit. So, and up here, that's a unit. So they work in units of various sizes. and they work with standard equipment like countertops or countertop ranges and so on. But I included a video here that explains how you do it, how do you put these things together, and it's really not that difficult. I would say on a do-it-yourself scale on a 1 to 10, I say it's probably about an 8, because you're gonna have to learn some stuff as you go installing this. And also remember, whenever you tear out a kitchen and you start going back in, whenever you tear it out, you're going to find a lot of things that you need to move, like electrical outlets. We had to move 3 electrical outlets when we did this kitchen here. But what that does is it gives you an opportunity. I look at some challenges as opportunities. If you're moving an outlet, then it gives you an opportunity to put in a quad outlet if you want, perhaps, or you could put in a dual outlet that's got some ports you could plug PCs into, some USB ports. I mean, that sort of thing. So don't look at all problems as problems, but look at them as perhaps an opportunity to do something else, to add more. Maybe there's only 1 outlet and you actually want 2, like we added a second outlet here. Let's see, we also did on the back, so underneath here we put an outlet with a USB port, so that the homeowner could plug in her phone, computer, what have you. So anyway, this is the website, howtofloortile.blogspot.com. There are a lot of tips and tricks in here, a lot of advice, a lot of information. Why are there arrows on the back of my vinyl tile so that you lay it all, install it moving in the same direction? Same thing for ceramic tile. You see there's an arrow there, so you lay it all and install it all in a specific direction. There are reasons why. There are a lot of things out there, but you don't understand it until someone tells you, hey, that's what that's for. So a lot of information here. Suggest you, if you have any ideas that you have questions about, peruse the pictures, peruse the articles, and see if there's something that might fit what you're looking at. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.